Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The occurrence of an abrupt, transient loss or impairment of consciousness, which is not subsequently remembered, sometimes with light twitching, fluttering eyelids, etc. Common in petit mal epilepsy. Failure to be present. The state of being absent. He was surprised by the absence of any explanation. The time interval during which something or somebody is away. He visited during my absence. The occurrence of an abrupt, transient loss or impairment of consciousness, which is not subsequently remembered, sometimes with light twitching, fluttering eyelids, etc. Common in petit mal epilepsy. A sudden occurrence, or recurrence, of a disease. A sudden occurrence, or recurrence, of a disease. He suffered an epileptic seizure. The act of taking of a person by force. The act of forcibly dispossessing an owner of property. The taking possession of something by legal process. A sudden occurrence, or recurrence, of a disease. A state of being carried away by overwhelming emotion. The failure to attend. Have need of. This piano wants the attention of a competent tuner. Anything that is necessary but lacking. I tried to supply his wants. A state of extreme poverty. The state of needing something that is absent or unavailable. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. A specific feeling of desire. Feel or have a desire for, want strongly. I want to go home now. Be without, lack, be deficient in. Want courtesy. Hunt or look for, want for a particular reason. Your former neighbor is wanted by the FBI. Wish or demand the presence of. I want you here at noon. Lack of an adequate quantity or number. The state of needing something that is absent or unavailable. Water is the critical deficiency in desert regions. Be without. This soup lacks salt. The state of needing something that is absent or unavailable. There is a serious lack of insight into the problem. The difference in pitch between two notes. A definite length of time marked off by two instants. The distance between things. A set containing all points, or all real numbers, between two given endpoints. A definite length of time marked off by two instants. An absence seizure without other complications, followed by 3 per sec brainwave spikes. An absence seizure accompanied by other abnormalities, atonia or automatisms or vasomotor changes. A transient impairment of cortical function demonstrable only by 3 per second brainwave spikes. An absence seizure without other complications, followed by 3 per sec brainwave spikes. Habitual absence from work. The omission that is made when an editorial change shortens a written passage. Weed out unwanted or unnecessary things. We had to lose weight, so we cut the sugar from our diet. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. The employer wants to cut back health benefits. The act of penetrating or opening open with a sharp edge. His cut in the lining revealed the hidden jewels. Made neat and tidy by trimming. In baseball, A batter's attempt to hit a pitched ball. He took a vicious cut at the ball. Used of rates or prices, reduced usually sharply. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Cut bourbon. Cut and assemble the components of. Cut recording tape. Used of grass or vegetation, cut down with a hand implement or machine. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. The act of cutting something into parts. His cuts were skillful. Refuse to acknowledge. She cut him dead at the meeting. Turn sharply. Change direction abruptly. The car cut to the left at the intersection. Be able to manage or manage successfully. She could not cut the long days in the office. Mixed with water. Sold cut whiskey. A refusal to recognize someone you know. The act of shortening something by chopping off the ends. The barber gave him a good cut. Sports. A stroke that puts reverse spin on the ball. Cuts do not bother a good tennis player. Style and tailor in a certain fashion. Cut a dress. With parts removed. The drastically cut film. A wound made by cutting. He put a bandage over the cut. Create by duplicating data. Cut a disc. Cease, stop. Cut the noise. Cut off the testicles, of male animals such as horses. A piece of meat that has been cut from an animal carcass. Make out an issue. Cut a ticket. A trench resembling a furrow that was made by erosion or excavation. A remark capable of wounding mentally. The unkindest cut of all. Intentionally fail to attend. Cut class. A distinct selection of music from a recording or a compact disc. He played the first cut on the CD. The division of a deck of cards before dealing. He insisted that we give him the last cut before every deal. Of a male animal, having the testicles removed. A cut horse. Cuss to stop operating by disengaging a switch. Cut the engine. A canal made by erosion or excavation. Allow incision or separation. This bread cuts easily. An unexcused absence from class. He was punished for taking too many cuts in his math class. A share of the profits. Everyone got a cut of the earnings. A step on some scale. He is a cut above the rest. Discharge from a group. The coach cut 2 players from the team. Dissolve by breaking down the fat of. Soap cuts grease. Divide a deck of cards at random into 2 parts to make selection difficult. Wayne cut. Fashioned or shaped by cutting. A well-cut suit. Fell by sawing, hew. The Vietnamese cut a lot of timber while they occupied Cambodia. Film. An immediate transition from one shot to the next. The cut from the accident scene to the hospital seemed too abrupt. Form by probing, penetrating, or digging. Cut a hole. Form or shape by cutting or incising. Cut paper dolls. Function as a cutting instrument. This knife cuts well. Give the appearance or impression of. Cut a nice figure. Grow through the gums. The new tooth is cutting. Have a reducing effect. This cuts into my earnings. Have grow through the gums. The baby cut a tooth. Hit a ball with a spin so that it turns in the opposite direction. Cut a ping pong ball. Make an abrupt change of image or sound. Cut from one scene to another. Make an incision or separation. Cut along the dotted line. Make a recording of. Cut the songs. Move one's fist. His opponent cut upward toward his chin. Pass directly and often in haste. We cut through the neighbor's yard to get home sooner. Pass through or across. The boat cut the water. Penetrate injuriously. The glass from the shattered windshield cut into her forehead. Perform or carry out. Cut a caper. Reap or harvest. Cut grain. Record a performance on a medium. Cut a record. Separated into parts or laid open or penetrated with a sharp edge or instrument. The cut surface was modeled. Separate with or as if with an instrument. Shorten as if by severing the edges or ends of. Cut my hair. Stop filming. Cut a movie scene. The act of reducing the amount or number. The mayor proposed extensive cuts in the city budget. The style in which a garment is cut. A dress of traditional cut. Of pages of a book, having the folds of the leaves trimmed or slit. The cut pages of the book. An option that is selected automatically unless an alternative is specified. Loss resulting from failure of a debt to be paid. Act of failing to meet a financial obligation. Fail to pay up. Loss due to not showing up. He lost the game by default. Absence by virtue of not occurring. The state of being elsewhere than in particular place. Epilepsy characterized by paroxysmal attacks of brief clouding of consciousness, and possibly other abnormalities. A seizure of short duration characterized by momentary unconsciousness and local muscle spasms or twitching. Epilepsy characterized by paroxysmal attacks of brief clouding of consciousness, and possibly other abnormalities. A seizure of short duration characterized by momentary unconsciousness and local muscle spasms or twitching. The girl was frightened by her first petite mal. Epilepsy characterized by paroxysmal attacks of brief clouding of consciousness, and possibly other abnormalities. She has been suffering from petite mal since childhood.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.